once again, just like with the previous Grand Prix review video that I did, I should be whispering. My voice is a lot better, but it hasn't fully recovered yet. Of course, in this video I will be continuing my look at the 2024 Formula 1 World Championship. Just a brief look at every race from a fan's perspective. Nothing too technical. Just my own opinions and observations, basically, about the race. Now, this one was, of course, race number 8, wasn't it? 8 in Monaco. I would never want to lose Monaco off the circuit. It's not a proper race, of course. Everyone knows that. It goes without saying. It's all about qualifying, but it's a standout highlight of the season. And even though it's all about qualifying, you of course still have to hold it together for 78 laps. one of the longest races. I think maybe only Singapore is longer of a season, in a season. So it's a real test of skill. It's not a test of overtaking ability, but it is a test of skill and concentration. And as such, I believe it deserves to be well and truly on the circuit. Okay, so my usual routine. I will do a rundown of the finishing order. Then I'll do the top 10 of the Drivers' Championship, followed by the rundown of the Constructors. Okay, let's go. First place. I'm still in shock there, I think I am. Leclerc. Second. Piastri. Sainz. Norris. Let's just check that that's definitely in focus. Fifth was Russell. Sixth, Verstappen. Seventh, Hamilton. Eighth, Tsunoda. Ninth, Albon. 10th, Gasly. 11th, Alonso. Ricciardo. Bottas. Stroll. Sargeant. Zhou. And then we had 17. Ocon. Perez. Hulkenberg. Magnussen. Okay, so Drivers' Championship. Here we go. Verstappen. 169. 07. Piastri 71. Russell 54. Hamilton 42. Alonso 33. Tsunoda 19. Okay, still in focus, is it? Let me have a little check. This might wobble a little bit as I do this. Okay. So, constructors. Red Bull, of course, at the top. Well, I say of course, but not by much. Ferrari 252. Look how close they are. It's amazing. Third. McLaren 184. Fourth, Mercedes 96. Fifth, Aston Martin 44. 6, RB 24. 7th, Haas 7. 8th, Alpine 2. 9th, Williams 2. 10th, Sauber 0. Okay, so what did we think of that race? Well, I think for starters, I'm just going to write down who had the fastest lap. I might have forgotten who had the fastest lap. Oh well, doesn't matter. Was it? Must have been either Hamilton or Verstappen. I think it was Hamilton, but I'm not 100% certain, so I'm not going to write it down. Let me just have a little drink. Of course, he was pole position. I should write that down, shouldn't I? I don't normally write that down for some reason. Don't know why. Pole, Leclerc. This race was my lasting memory of this race would be how it's basically red, yellow, red, yellow. Two Ferraris, the two McLarens, looking very similar to the early Benetton. They mentioned that in commentary, and it is true. I'm just trying to think which one it was most like. I think the 93 Benetton, 92, 93. There was lots of yellow and green. It was, and the 92 and 93 Benetton. That's what this McLaren looks like at the moment. This Ayrton Senna McLaren. But yeah, I like to have a lasting image from a race. I always think that's been a bit of a success if I can get a lasting image. And certainly my lasting image from this race is red, yellow, red, yellow. For instance, my lasting image of the 1989 German Grand Prix is red and white, red and white, red, red. That's McLaren, Ferrari. Senna, Prost, Mansell, Berger. And that's the same thing I have going on here. But what did I actually think of the race? I have to say, it was obviously a bit of a flat race, not really a lot going on. It was a very tactical race with not a lot happening. Apart from the very first lap, of course, where Magnussen and Perez came together and then took out Hulkenberg. Whose fault was that? I think it's easy to blame Magnussen. But I think yes, Magnussen shouldn't have gone for that move up the inside, up the straight there, if you can call it a straight. But also Perez, who was clearly looking out of his right hand mirror at Magnussen, so he could see Magnussen. He should have also given him room instead of just assuming. I think he just assumed Magnussen was going to drop off. So Magnussen shouldn't have been there, but also Perez could have done some preventive manoeuvre to easily avoid the accident, which then took out Hulkenberg, which was unfortunate. Very lucky for Sainz though, because he got a puncture. I cannot believe how Piastri, what bravery that was for Piastri at the start to hold on to his position around the outside of Sainz going into that first corner. The camera cut away from that and I thought there's no way Piastri has survived that. But he did. But Sainz didn't, he got a little puncture. And so he went off, but of course then the whole race was red flagged and was restarted from the beginning of the previous lap, or that lap that they were on, which of course was the start. So it was a completely fresh start for Sainz, which was lucky. Again, that reminds me of Nigel Mansell, 1986, British Grand Prix, Brands Hatch, when he had a car failure right at the start in his Williams. But fortunately for him, but unfortunately for Jacques Lafitte had a big accident which ended his career. And right at the very start, and because of that, Mansell was able to jump in the spare car which was set up for PK, and he won the race. On this occasion, Sainz didn't win the race, but he still got on the podium, which was good. Also on that first lap, of course, Ocon. I only saw a replay, an onboard replay, so it's difficult to say who was to blame, but I have to say Ocon has taken the blame anyway, fully on his shoulders, and certainly his team certainly think he was to blame. Is it Alpine's sporting director or something? Famine, is that his name? He nearly sacked Ocon on the spot. I don't know what he can actually do to Ocon, but maybe Ocon won't be in the next race. I think that's a bit silly because Ocon's a very good driver, but anyway. That Famine bloke is very, very punchy, very, very headstrong, and doesn't make friends easily, from what I've seen in the past. So yeah, the interesting thing was that on the restart, all of those that had started on mediums for the first start were able to restart were able to change their tyres basically onto hards, which meant they were able to go the whole length of the race. Whereas those that had started on hards couldn't then restart on hards without having to stop again onto mediums. So it gave quite a big advantage to those that had started originally on mediums, which was McLaren and Ferrari, basically, with Redbull, Mercedes and Aston Martin starting on hards. And the whole race was basically a tactical tyre management game where Leclerc was trying to go slow enough so that Norris in 4th place wouldn't have a pit stop gap between him and Russell. It's a real shame that we were denied that entertainment of Norris race, and then he would have come up charging up behind Sainz in third place, and that would have been fantastic to watch that. That would have been great. But we were denied that. It did get to 20 seconds at one point, the gap between Norris and Russell, but I think McLaren wanted a gap of 21 seconds. The gap gradually came down, and then of course Verstappen stopped and Hamilton stopped, and they closed the gap to Russell. So it was definitely too dangerous then for Norris to make a pit stop. And that was it. That was about as exciting as the race got. It was exciting because we were thinking about what might happen. Norris might have a pit stop. Norris then might be able to close up to the other three. It was still. It's always enjoyable watching the cars going around Monaco, but not really any race. I thought it was interesting that there's a TV screen in the tunnel. I don't think I've seen that there before, and it was showing shots of Ayrton Senna going around Monaco. I'm sure I've not seen that before. But I thought that was interesting. Yes, and Norris had a very frustrating race. He spent the entire race tucked up behind Sainz all the time. Because Sainz was, not only was Leclerc trying to slow down the three behind him, but Sainz was also joining in with that and trying to slow up Norris. Very good tactics by the Ferrari drivers. And maybe by the team, if it was the team that told them to do it. But yeah, that was good tactics by Leclerc and Sainz, basically. But must have been extremely frustrating for both Piastri and Norris. It was strange, I thought, how slow Piastri was at the end. He was so slow that not only did Russell halve the gap to Norris, who was obviously going slow because he was behind Sainz, who was going slow because he was behind Piastri. Not only that, but Sargeant, who had been lapped, started to close up on the back of Norris because Piastri was holding everybody up. That was a bit. I haven't heard an explanation for why he was going so slow, but that's why Leclerc pulled out in front as well and won the race very easily. I thought it was very impressive how Russell managed to go the whole length of the race on mediums. There might have been one or two other cars that did that in lower down the field, I'm not sure, but of sort of the top 5 teams, Russell was the one that managed to do that. That was an incredible performance, lasting all that distance on mediums. That was incredible. He was even quite fast at the end, as I say, closing up on Norris. Mind you, that was mainly because Piastri was going slow. I won't do much more on this video because of my incredibly annoying throat. But Tsunoda, another fantastic performance. I think that's 5 or 6 races on the trot. He's scored points. And he's there, he's 10th in the championship with 19 points. And remember, at the start of the year, these 5 teams in the second division, if you want to call it that, they said, oh, we'll be scrambling around for the odd point here and there. Well, Tsunoda's got 19. That's a great performance. He's only 14 behind Alonso. The top 10 on the grid finished in that order in the race. Gasly survived his incident with Ocon. Ocon didn't survive the race, and he might not survive his career either. But Gasly survived. Ocon being severely attacked over in this race. It reminds me of Jarno Trulli in 2004, who was heavily criticised by his team, Benetton. Or were they called Renault by then? I don't know. But heavily criticised by the team Jenson Button to get past him for third place, I think, or something. That was it. He just lost third place. He didn't retire or anything. And Flavio Briatore laid into Trulli quite severely over that. It also reminds me of a Monaco Grand Prix in 2016, 2017, maybe. Back when Verstappen was having lots of accidents and he crashed in Monaco, and the team were quite vocal about saying he's going to have to improve, otherwise he's out, basically. So, yeah. Ocon's treatment has sort of reminded me of those two incidents. Zhou, I don't know what's going on with Zhou this year. I think he's the only driver to have not got out of Q3 yet this year, I think. Sorry, Q1. He's just at the back all the time. I think just like Sargeant, he's going to lose his drive at the end of the year, Zhou. Bottas. Albon. Fantastic performance by Albon. 2 points for the team. The first points this year for Williams. Ricciardo, beaten by his teammate yet again. Hamilton, sort of nowhere, beaten by his teammate yet again. Championship Leclerc, 276 points. I can't believe that there's only 24 points between them when Red Bull have won 5 of the 8 races so far, and these two, how can they be as close as they are? That's incredible. I mean, Sainz was the one doing all the amazing stuff in the Ferrari just a few races ago, but Leclerc is 30 points ahead of him. I think Leclerc's been very consistent. He's just scoring points, good points in every single race. So even though Sainz shone early in the season, Leclerc has just been consistently picking up points, including in the race that Sainz missed, of course, which was Saudi Arabia. But yeah, I mean, you look at this and you think maybe Leclerc can win the championship, maybe Norris can, maybe even Sainz. Perez, of course, is not allowed to, so we won't talk about him. But yeah, you could argue that there are 4 drivers in the championship. Right, I'm going to end the video there and go and have another drink. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Where's the next race? Oh, Canada, isn't it? Yeah, Montreal. Oh, it's such a classic circuit. I love that circuit. But it does always bring back horrific memories of 1991. As a massive Mansell fan, which I was, that race